day and welcome to Asset Television News. My name is Omike Matthew and here are the headlines. Syrup seals Senate, demands recall of Senator NATASHA. Rivers budget crisis continues as lawmakers serve impeachment notice. Honorees, APC stalwart advises President Tinubu. All this and more coming up shortly. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project Syrup has filed a lawsuit against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio over the failure to reverse the patently unlawful suspension of Senator NATASHA Akpoti-Oduaghan, as the purported suspension is based solely on the peaceful exercise of our rights to freedom of expression. Akpabio is sued for himself and on behalf of all members of the Senate. In the suit filed last Friday at the Federal High Court Abuja, Syrup is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel Akpabio to rescind the unlawful suspension of NATASHA Akpoti-Oduaghan, reinstate her, and fully restore all her legislative rights, entitlements, and privileges. Syrup is seeking an order of perpetual injunction restraining the Senate from further suspending or taking any disciplinary action against NATASHA Akpoti-Oduaghan solely for the peaceful exercise of her fundamental human rights. And in another development, the Senate has been given 14 days to lift the suspension of Senator NATASHA Akpoti-Oduaghan by a group affiliated with the Interfaith Women Alliance for Justice and Women's Voice for a New Nigeria. The group said that NATASHA's peaceful exercise of her rights to free speech was the only reason for the suspension. Comrade Saratu Shikari, the group's spokesperson, stated this during a news conference in Kaduna that Akpoti-Oduaghan was not charged with treason, corruption, or theft. Her only transgression was to demand justice in a system that was intended to quiet her, to refuse to be intimidated, and to refuse to accept injustice. If their demands were not fulfilled within 14 days, the women's group threatened to take over the National Assembly. The Rivers State House of Assembly has issued a notice of gross misconduct on Governor Siminalayi Fubara and Ngozi Odu, his deputy, which could potentially lead to impeachment proceedings. Martins Wachuku, Special Assistant on Media to Martin Imahule, Speaker of the Rivers Assembly, confirmed the development. This notice is the first step in the impeachment process as outlined in Section 188 of the Nigerian Constitution. The notice must be signed by at least one-third of the members of the State House of Assembly presented to the Speaker. A gross misconduct is defined as a gross violation or breach of the Constitution or misconduct that's considered severe enough to warrant impeachment. The Speaker must serve the Governor and each member of the House of Assembly with a copy of the notice within 7 days. The Governor has a right to reply to the allegations, and any response must be served on each member of the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly will then vote on whether to investigate the allegations. If the motion passes with a two-thirds majority, a panel of 7 persons will be appointed to investigate the allegations. If the panel finds the governor guilty of gross misconduct, the House of Assembly can impeach the governor with a two-thirds majority vote. The process involves several stages and the governor has opportunities to respond and defend himself. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has criticized the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira, which was approved for workers by President Bola Tinubu last year. Obasanjo has claimed it is not enough to cover their basic needs, including transportation, food, and housing. The former president also said labor leaders have betrayed workers by prioritizing personal interest over collective welfare. Obasanjo also claimed labor leaders are more interested in pursuing personal interest. He said this because of their political ambitions. Most union leaders are ineffective compared to the founding fathers' expectations, as the workers have now become victims of selfish leaders who use their positions to achieve political heights. Desperate bids by some drug trafficking organizations to move illicit consignments such as cocaine, tramadol, and load to the United States of America, Saudi Arabia, Italy, Poland, and United Arab Emirates through logistics firms and the Lagos airport have been thwarted by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The NDLEA spokesman, Mr. Femi Babafemi, disclosed this in a statement issued on Sunday. According to him, at least 2 suspects behind some of the aborted missions at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, have already been arrested. One of them is a 43-year-old businesswoman, Japo Ikwere, who was nabbed at the Gate C departure of the Lagos airport while attempting to board an Air France flight to Italy. When she was searched, 190 parcels of tramadol of 225 mg and another parcel of skunk, a strain of cannabis, were recovered from her luggage. In her statement, she claimed that she bought the drugs herself with the intention to resell them in Italy. In Kano, a total of 727 blocks of compressed skunk weighing 479 kg were recovered from a 40-year-old suspect, Hassan Haruna, who was arrested by NDLEA operatives at Chalawa area of the state on Wednesday, the 12th of March, while no fewer than 58,300 pills of tramadol were intercepted along Kaba Obajana Highway, Kogi State, in a commercial bus coming from Lagos en route Abuja on Tuesday, 11th of March. State governors, have launched a fresh push against the planned disbursement of federal allocation to the local government councils in a renewed bid to delay the implementation of the Supreme Court verdict on local government authority autonomy. Some of the governors, during a meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House of Abuja last Tuesday, kicked against payment of the local government allocations through the Central Bank of Nigeria, citing the need to address the multi-billion-dollar debt allegedly incurred by the councils. Presidency officials said the governors used the opportunity of the Iftar dinner to lobby the president and renew negotiations on direct allocation to the councils, which has suffered delays. On July 11, 2024, the Supreme Court delivered a landmark judgment affirming the fiscal autonomy of local governments nationwide. It ruled that federal allocations to the local government authorities must be paid directly to their respective accounts, bypassing state governments. You are watching Asset Television News. The news continues right after this short break. Welcome back to Asset Television News, and now the rest of the stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been advised on the handling of the crisis between herders and farmers in parts of the country. Francis Onabis, a Nigerian politician based abroad, in an open letter to the president made available to newsmen in Abuja, advised the president on the need to tracing the root causes of the crisis, which might be from competition or lack of proper grazing infrastructure and failure to modernize animal husbandry practice. He said past administrations made attempts which were not successful at establishing ranching zones. Onabis, however, advised the phase-out of open grazing and instead create a legal framework for land use in the country. According to him, there should be a local peace committee among farmers and herders to mediate on possible infractions on any existing laws within any ranching zones. Cattle herders, farmers' crisis, he maintains, should not be allowed to be a time bomb. Honabis salute the courage of the president for being resolute in decision-making and making sure the rights of the farmers as well as that of the herders are respected. At least 7 fighters of the Islamic State of West African province ISWAP were killed in a fierce confrontation with Nigerian troops of Section 2 Operation Fasinyana Yama in Bunigeri, Yobe State. The incident occurred on the night of Sunday, March 16. Zagazola Makama, a counter-insurgency expert focused on the Lake Chad region, disclosed this on Monday in a post on his X handle. Makama said that intelligence sources informed him that the terrorists launched an attack on the town, firing sporadically, but were swiftly engaged by the troops in collaboration with Yobe State hunters. According to the report, a heavy gun battle ensued, lasting over an hour before the insurgents were overpowered. The security expert stated that the terrorists managed to seize a tricycle to transport 4 of their dead fighters, while 3 other bodies were taken away on a motorcycle as they retreated. A vigilante member who intercepted the fleeing terrorists sustained gunshot wounds and later succumbed to his injuries. The Adamawa State Police Command has recorded another significant breakthrough in its fight against violent crimes as operatives attached to the Divisional Police Headquarters, Jada, have arrested 2 suspects for the brutal murder of a 10-year-old boy in Jada local government area. The spokesman, CSP Suleiman Ungureji, stated that police operatives arrested one Ibrahim Abdulmalik, 27 years old, and Aliyu Abdulmalik, 18 years old, both residents of Agwan Sarikin Yama, Jada, in connection with the crime. According to the statement, during an investigation, the suspects confessed to committing the crime, regretted the action and blamed the devil for their actions. The CP condemned the barbaric behavior and directed the case to be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for discreet investigation and diligent prosecution. He assured the public that justice will be served and called on parents and guardians to be vigilant and report any suspicious movement around their neighborhood to the police. The Trade Union Congress has backed a Lagos-based National Youth Service Corps member, Yushi Ugumai, also known as Rai, who claimed to have received threats for criticizing President Bola Tinubu's administration. TUC President Festus Osifo, who was a guest on Channels Television's Sunday Politics, said that the corps member spoke out of frustration, advising the government not to go after her, but to be tolerant on critics. The TUC boss, however, advised critics to always criticize the government within the expected norm and with some level of decorum. Rai, a corps member serving in Lagos, recently made headlines after a video she posted criticizing government policies went viral. She later claimed to have faced threats, reportedly from NYSC officials, pressurizing her to take down the video. However, the NYSC has yet to release an official statement regarding the issue. And now to the foreign scene. Yemen's Houthi rebels said there have been fresh U.S. strikes against them, with the number of dead rising to 53, including 5 children. Targets in the Al Jaouf and Hadiyada areas were hit early on Monday, according to the rebel group, while the U.S. Central Command said its forces had continued operations. The U.S. launched what it called a decisive and powerful wave of airstrike on Houthi targets on Saturday as part of efforts to stop Houthi attacks on shipping in the Red Sea. Washington says some key Houthi fighters are among the dead, but the group has not confirmed this. Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi said his militants will target U.S. ships in the Red Sea as long as the U.S. continued its attacks on Yemen. At least 40 people have died after tornadoes ripped through a swath of the U.S. Midwest and South. Missouri bore the brunt of the twisters, which began to spawn on Friday. At least 12 people have died in that state. Powerful winds in Texas and Kansas whipped up dust storms that resulted in vehicles pileups and a dozen deaths. The extreme weather covering an area of the country that is home to more than 100 million people fanned nearly 150 deadly wildfires in Oklahoma. Fatalities were also recorded in Arkansas, Alabama, and Mississippi. And to the world of sports, Rivers United technical advisor Finidi George has expressed satisfaction with the team's away victory over El Kanemi Warriors. The Pride of Rivers defeated El Kanemi Warriors 2-1 in Maiduguri on Sunday. Finidi admitted that the encounter was tough due to the weather condition. Meanwhile, Nigerian Premier Football League side Rivers United have declared Seif Jackson absent without official leave. Rivers United made the declaration in a statement on Sunday. The Pride of Rivers said Jackson had initially claimed to be sick, but investigations by the club's medical team revealed no evidence of illness. Despite efforts to verify his claim, the player has since gone into hiding and is no longer responding to communications from the club. Rivers United stated that Jackson has joined Ojodu City FC without obtaining the necessary clearance or permission from the club for an international tournament abroad. And with that sport news, we have come to the end of this edition of Asset Television News. On behalf of the production crew, I am Omike Matthew saying thanks for watching. Oh, I know right time.